How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon movie review. But this is not the movie review for the original one. But I guess the original is the book, but this is the review for the live action 2025 release. That's also going to get a release, a part 2 for the in live action as well. So how cool is that? It's going to be live action for the first one and the second. But this movie was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it very much. Let's say I'm a fan of How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. Live action release. It's good. I liked it. I enjoyed the movie very much. But no, I did. I really did like it, actually. It was really nice. It's the same story, so it's not anything that I haven't seen before. But, and so at first, that's why at first I was thinking, maybe I'll watch this. I wasn't exactly 100% maybe gonna watch. But the ballerina movie, maybe I'll see that one with my parents. Like the girlfriend parents as a kind of a group thing to do together. And this clicking noise maybe is annoying in the review. I don't know. Maybe it is. Because I'm making this while I'm driving to save time, because I just don't want to... I'm just not going to be bothered to want to do this later. I just want to do it now. Have it done with. If my reviews becoming a chore for me to do sometimes, sometimes it feels like a chore for me to do, but I think it's good that I keep it up anyway, even if I don't all the way feel like it, because it's nice. It's a nice thing to do, to get my thoughts in on the movie. Well, but what was I thinking about in my head? I was thinking about something. What was I thinking about with the film, with the movie, with the film? What was I thinking about? Yeah, it's the same story, but it was nice. It was. I guess I really don't have anything to say. Astrid, she was the popular, right? So I guess now I'm watching it, it's kind of. I don't know if anything's sort of different with it, because I don't probably remember the first one all the way. But yeah, Astrid, she was the popular one. They liked her. And then they said Fire Brigade. I don't recall there being a Fire Brigade in the first one, but maybe there was. I think in the first one I recall they were fighting dragons, not putting out fire. They're the cool kids, and then it turns out, like, I guess they're the only adolescents in the town. Because they said coming of age. It's a coming of age ritual. You go to the dragon school. Well, except for the other two. The other two are older. They look to be about the same age to me, but I don't look like they're any particularly that much older than them. But apparently they flunked it 4 times already, so they've been held back for a while. But the other ones, this is their first time going into the dragon training school thing, where they're gonna learn how to kill dragons. And like Asher said, we're gonna inherit the war that our parents are fighting. Except I couldn't swear in the first film, weren't they fighting dragons alongside their parents? I think everybody has to pitch in. And then there's a shaman lady. When I first saw her, I was thinking, I don't think she ever talks once in the film. I was thinking, oh my god, is she the chief? Because I couldn't swear where the dad was the chief. And then it turns out, yeah, the dad is still the chief. But the shaman lady also, I think she's the eldest elder is what they call her. The eldest elder person. It's just she has the wisdom. I'm looking at the moon. This is a side segment in the video, but I'm looking at the moon right now, and it's impressive. It's like really high up. I feel like it's higher up than usual in the sky. I see the store is closed. That's good. They got out before reasonable time, probably. But what do you call that? What was I thinking of in my head? I was thinking of something. Astrid, she was popular. I recall that Hiccup, he made friends. See, maybe my memory is like completely wonky from it, or they did change a little bit of that, because it's that New Zealand guy, that Kiwi guy. I've seen him before, the actor. I recognize him, but he's playing And you know what? There's this other actor, this I think like Southeast Asian American actor. It's a South American and Southeast Asian descent. He was in the Spider-Man movie. Him and that guy, they remind me of each other. They're both like heavy set guys. They both kind of play like a deep, geeky kind of nerd role sometimes in the films. They get typecast basically. It's like certain roles in a way in the films. But no, this guy, he's in the film, and I could have sworn like what didn't they become friends? Him and Hiccup. But in this film, they don't become friends. But I could have sworn didn't they become friends or something along those lines? I thought they did, but I guess they didn't. And then what else happens in the film? The twins, I like the twins. Because the twins in the other film, they definitely looked more identical, right? When the joke about the mom can't tell us apart. I don't know if that was in the first film or not, but when they had that joke in the first film, it definitely made sense because they did look identical actually. In this film, they're sort of like, what do you call? God, what was I thinking of in my head? The one's a guy, one's a girl, one's skinny, one's heavy set. Like, but and the guy says, yeah, sure, yeah, go totally. They couldn't tell you. I like that his mentor, because in the film, I remember in the first film, I recall him, he's like friends with his dad, he knows him really well, and he's teaching his son blacksmithing. And this is actually a cool thing, he doesn't have to be a warrior and fight dragons, does he? I guess in the beginning of the film, that's what he's sort of saying. Maybe his dad would ideally want him to have a strong son, especially because he's a chief, and he was a top slayer too. But that's also pretty cool what he does with the blacksmithing stuff, and it's important because who's gonna make the weapons that you're gonna use, right? After all, they're using weapons to kill the dragons, and somebody's gotta make this shit. But what was I thinking? That was for, he even, like, in the first film, when he makes the gear for Toothless and whatnot, he does that in this film. And when I'm thinking, like, looking back on it, actually, that's impressive. This guy, when, these kids are making fun of him. I like the scene when they're all sitting at the table, and he shows up, and there's going to be a weak link, and then he looks up to him, and like, okay, yeah, he's the weak link, right? That's the joke. And he doesn't sit at the table with everyone else. He goes off and sits on his own. The ostracization is real, is it? So the heavyset guy, he didn't ostracize him. It was the other ones that are ostracizing him. And they're kind of just all in this sort of pseudo agreement with each other. And everybody loves Astrid, and obviously in the very beginning, they love Astrid. She's the popular one, so she probably was used to that. They're fawnting over her and whatnot, so on and so forth. I like the guy, when the two dudes who had the conversation. She was totally checking me out. She's totally eyeing me as the next suitor, because I guess maybe she's gonna we're gonna be in cahoots with people our own age, right? We're gonna copulate, we're gonna mingle, we're gonna be in leadership with people around our age group. And apparently it's a small pool. There's only, because there's no other teenagers that get selected for this, but we see there are kids on the island. There were some other kids in some shots. So these people have kids. I like another scene I like in this film, because in the first film there was no racial diversity, I don't recall, but in this film there is. And I like that it's explained why, actually, which I did appreciate. I think that was kind of a nice little touch. And what goes on to explain, the dad says to like these different figures, he says, hey, your ancestors came from a faraway land of this, your ancestors came from this place, but what unites us here is we're all warriors, we're all fighters, and we don't quit. And we all came here and chose to make this place our home. We know it gets cold here, we know that it gets cold, that it's the summertime at the moment, and I think he said we gotta we have an entire village to feed, because the winter's gonna come. We need to hunker down and survive that winter into the next spring and into the next. But it doesn't look like they do much farming on this island. They definitely eat their diet consists heavily of meat, does it? A lot of fish, seafood, and I guess they eat the sheep. I recall that the first one, I think the sheep maybe had some comedic roles in the first one that the sheep just don't have in the second film. They just don't have it. And the dragons, maybe primarily eat fish. Maybe some of them do eat the sheep, but we know what happens is the queen, she controls them. I don't even know it's a queen. The alpha. I guess that we can say, because I think we refer to her as a queen as their, but we have like, in actuality, what is the fucking gender of that thing? We don't know. And it's like way bigger than them. It's kind of funny though, right? It's way bigger. And it like lives in lava too. I think in the first one it also did this and lived in lava as well. But and she doesn't look that ferocious. She's kind of like she's, I mean, she is scary, I guess, you know, because she's oversized and powerful and looks menacing. But like, she also looks kind of dorky, wonky, because one of the dragon, there's different breeds of dragon. That's another cool thing with the film. There's different types of dragon, different breeds. There's even a really, really tiny one, the little terror, right? But with these dragons, in this film, what was I thinking of? The one, and of course the fat guy, you know, the big guy, he gets that's how they did it in the first one, that's how they do it in the second one. So it's kind of funny, right? Like, there's some dragons, like, okay, it just kind of pairs, it just really pairs nicely if you get this dragon. I'm sorry, but it really does. It really pairs nicely if you get this one. But that dragon, how do you call? What was I thinking of in my head? That dragon fucking, what was I thinking? It's like clumsy. It's like the clumsiest of all the dragons. Even when it's like a quote-unquote attacking, it's not really like attacking, that's like per se. I guess it's, so part of it's sort of part of its behavior there is just interacting, like it's instinctual, right? Some of the dragons, they do have this more instinct sort of vibe to them, right? And then, but Toothless, maybe Toothless really is an exception on his own. I think Toothless is like the only Night Fury we see too. If I'm not mistaken, the second film there might be a female Night Fury, but I think it's said and he gets lonely. Toothless gets lonely because, yeah, it's like the only species of his kind. For whatever reason, that one's very, it's like Aang. He's like Aang basically from Avatar, the only one. There's no other one. There were some other ones, and like, I don't know, they're just not here anymore. They fucking dead or something, I don't know. But I liked it. It was a nice movie. It was a nice film. I liked it. Then the guy's name is Snar, like snot leg or something, some shit like that. He says Hiccup. Oh my god, I think he was making fun of his name, actually. He was making fun of his name being Hiccup. And he's like, your name's Snotlog. Your name's Snotleg. Like, your name is Snot Lord or some shit like that. It's not Lord. Like, what the fuck are you going on about? Making fun of my name? Have you heard your name, bitch? And then his dad, the funniest joke in this film was when and this could be like a meme, actually. This is good meme content. When he says, hey dad, like, you know, he's trying to be all nice to his father and whatnot. He says, don't talk to me in public. Oh my god. His dad completely, you think Hiccup's dad is cold? His dad is even worse. His dad is really an asshole to his son. He's really like, wow, god, you really hate your son, don't you? You piece of shit. You know, he's just trying to be lovey on you and be nice and whatnot. But yeah, he really hates his son, this guy. Until the very end, where he sees his son on top of the dragon hitting with the eyeball, and he's like, whoa, is that my kid? Go figure. Yeah, it's your fucking kid, man. And then I guess that lady that looks like Astrid, that's Astrid's mom. Because that lady looks just like Astrid. And then there's like this other guy. Like, there's some people they have like sort of very minor secondary roles. But I think they're supposed to be like the leader in a sort of leadership position alongside the chief, like they're like his advisors or something, because they get like some prominent role standing next to him and stuff. But yeah, I mean, overall this film was nice. I liked it. There's only one scene where we see people explicitly die, and there's these guys, they literally get crushed by a rock, and that's the only scene in this film that's like, holy shit, these people explicitly actually, like, they definitely died. They definitely got crushed and killed because the fucking rock, when that thing wakes up, the queen wakes up, she's, you know, destroying her little home there to like fight these because they ran into her tomb castle high thing. The fucking rock crushed like a bunch of dudes too. Boom. That was an impressive scene, actually, now I think about it. But that was the only scene where we get an explicit death, basically. But that concludes my review for this film. Thank you for listening.